Good afternoon, everybody. Good afternoon, good day, good morning, good evening, all of that wonderful stuff. We know why we're here today, to check up on me. Oh man. So, as you know, by the previous video that you watched, this channel is turning into Diary of a Journeybyliight. And I had to throw on, so let's jump right into it. I had to throw on a little face today and a little hair to motivate me to get in front of the camera and to make a video. I would have loved to just sit down and talk. Not that I'm sad or ashamed or anything like that, to show myself without being made up, even partially. It was just that today was a day that was like, okay, I know that if I put on some hair, if I put on some makeup, then, a little lip, then I know that I'll be like, ooh, feeling myself enough to be like, okay, well, let's go ahead and make a video. Because if I didn't, I know that this part of this journey would not be recorded. And I really want to be as authentic as I can. And if not for anybody else, just for me, so that I can look back 2 years from now and be like, man, and see that, okay, all of that hard work did pay off. And all of the hard work that you're going to continue to put in will continue to pay off. So let's get into today. So as you see from my previous video that, or my previous videos, whatever it is, that meaning me and my family is in what I like to call a transition period. And we're transitioning from the life that we thought we had to have and had to settle for into the life that we want. And this is one of those days, like, while I have days where I am completely motivated, I'm just like, yeah, let's get it, let's do this, like, oh, it's working, it's coming together. I also have days to where I feel like this is a lot. And not that I don't feel like it's going to eventually come together, because I do, but it's exhausting. So like today particularly, I got up and I haven't even gotten myself, so I got the oldest off to school, the youngest ones got home, gave them something to eat, and I was so overwhelmed by housework and the stuff I had to do in the house that I wanted to get back into bed, crawl into bed, and go to sleep. But then I was just like, okay, well, let's at least do baby girl's hair. I need to do everybody's hair. I have to detangle my middle two babies' hair. My oldest, he said he wants locks, but he wants them freeform. So his hair is just doing its own thing. He'll have to get a haircut soon. I'll have to get a haircut soon. The hubs have to get a haircut soon. But this is not a video about hair. That was my mental illness taking over and me going off on another tangent. But anyway. So I was so overwhelmed by everything. I wanted to get back into bed and just, today's my day off from work. And the sad thing is, like, so I work like almost a full-time job. I work 32 hours a week instead of 40. Not that that makes a difference, but and outside of working an almost full-time job, I am still a full-time mother. I am still, a full-time wife and all those other things. And I work on the days that my husband have off. So it's tough. It is really tough. And sometimes it gets to me mentally. Like, and today was one of those days. So by it being my day off, I would love to just, that's what I miss about me and my husband being off at the same time. I would love to just, y'all know it's a wig. I would love to just kind of be in my sadness and in my overwhelmness today, but I can't. I can't afford to, because with the way that I work, if I miss one day of house chores, or one, if I slack off a little bit, in the end, I'm gonna pay for it. That's just it. So I didn't want to so much crawl into. I wanted to crawl into the bed, but I didn't want to, because I didn't want it to backfire. And this is, I know, where I have moments, because of this, I have moments of overworking myself. But what are you gonna do? So I decided, okay, well, let's get one small thing done. And I wasn't sure, like, this was the first time I braided her hair, like, completely. I've put like maybe a plait or two in it. And the last two major times she had her hair done, she got it done by my sister. She spent it out with my sister's house, and my sister did it for me. But this time I decided, okay, well, let's try something small. And if she doesn't sit and allow you to do it, then it's a sign to do something else small. But I wanted to start small because I was so overwhelmed. So I started detangling her hair, and I started braiding it. And she let me braid it. It took me probably about 2 hours to do, with her watching TV and going to sleep. But she did let me braid it. I have to figure out what I want to do with the, because I braided it up into a ponytail, and I want to figure out what I want to do with the ponytail. But she did let me braid it. And while I was braiding it, though, I was thinking, like, this is definitely a day of overstimulation, overwhelmed, and overworked. And that's how I feel. I feel overstimulated, I feel overwhelmed, and I feel overworked. And this is a part of this grind journey that I don't think a lot of people realize. So with social media and things today, it can make you feel like, and I know this is for me, it makes me feel sometimes like, man, it is so easy for some people. Now, granted, for some people, it does kind of seem like things are just a little bit easier for them. But I know it can't be the case for everybody. But just being on social media and seeing people's lives and things like that. Maddie, what? Well, as I was saying, with social media, it can make me feel like, because I can only speak for myself, but it can make me feel like, man, it just seems like their dreams and their goals, it just comes so easy. And even if they do kind of show like the part of the grind, it's like, man, their grind doesn't seem to be as difficult, as exhausting as mine. Even if it seems like I take the same steps, and that's the part of this journey I want to show. Today I am exhausted. Today I feel like, what if I did just settle for this life? Maybe I won't be completely happy, but maybe I won't be as exhausted. And honestly, deep down, that's not a trade that I'm willing to take. It's not a chance I'm willing to take. It's not a position I'm willing to trade. But it's just, today I feel exhausted. I feel exhausted. I feel like an exhausted mom. I feel like an exhausted wife. I feel like an exhausted employee where I work. I work in retail, and y'all, retail can be so dirty to its employees. You know what I mean? Like, so I basically look at myself. I work in style, and all that means I just work with women's clothing. That's it. But I just feel I kind of liken myself to just a glorified housekeeper. Like, they call it style, but I'm folding and hanging and just refolding. I do the same thing I do at home for 8-10 hours a day. I'm refolding, going back and cleaning up everything that I've already cleaned up that people come in and mess up. And customers can suck. Like, they're just like, this ain't my house, or maybe that is how they treat their house, but I just be like, Y'all, you could have at least put it back where you got it from. Like, that's why I tried to never be that type of customer, because it's so freaking frustrating. So frustrating. Just be like, I just came over here. I spent 2 hours cleaning up this whole area, folding up all these clothes so that you can have a nice experience. And then one white guy, I was at work, and this dude, so we have these sweaters that are folded up on this table. He was going through these sweaters trying to find a sweater that we had on a picture, which was an old sweater. Whatever, I digress. But he couldn't find it because they weren't even the right sweaters. But he like jumbled this whole table up. And there's like 50 sweaters on this table. But every single time they're messed up, we have to go back. I have to go back and fold so that they look nice consistently. So I folded the table up. I come back to the table and it's a mess. Like, went through every size. Like, they're all the exact same sweater. You just have to find your size. Like, go in the pile of the color that you want. Get your size, because they're separated by size. Like, if you just flip it up, get your size. Like, and you were looking for a small for your wife anyway, so that was on top. This trifling individual jacked up my table. So I go back to it. I'm just like, I just put on this table. Like, what the heck? So that's not what I said. I said something else, but I don't know how young my audience is today. But I'm like, who did this? So him and his family come walking back down the aisle behind me. And the guy he's with's like, yo, that's your work. He's like, what do you mean? He's like, didn't you mess up those sweaters? Like, they're whispering like I don't have ears. He was like, didn't you mess up those sweaters? He was like, oh man, oh, she got folded back up. He was like, man, that was you. So they're laughing. This trifling dude was like, well, job security, like, excuse me. I don't need you to secure my job. Like, I don't need you to secure my job. I don't need you to make sure I got something to do while I'm at work. Like, this is why I liked factory jobs. This is exactly why I liked factory jobs, because I could get in there, get my work done, do my part. If the factory is ran properly, do my part, don't have to worry about nobody else's part, no guests or customers or their shenanigans, and just worry about my mess. But right now, I've been praying, and I had an opportunity for a warehouse job that paid more, and but the hours were like kind of wonky. But anyways, I prayed about it, and I meditated on it, and everything within my gut and speaking to my spirit was like, not right now. Actually, it said no, but I'm saying it said not right now just for my soul, because I'm grappling with the fact of how is more money worse? And it doesn't even matter. Like, it just keeps coming to me to trust your gut, and my gut keeps saying no. Don't go to the warehouse job. Stay at the job that you're at. And that's what I'm going to do. While I do not understand the message, I do not understand it, but I do believe, and I have learned over the year, that there is nothing happens by coincidence. And if I claim to be a spiritual person led by the Spirit and led by my ancestors speaking to me through my spirit, and they give me a message, and I'm just like, I hear your message, but I'm gonna do something different, then I then can't talk about, man, this not go how I thought it would be. And it's like, no, it's going exactly how you thought it would be, which is why the spirit told you no, why your gut told you no, why every other sign around you told you no. You're just like, but, no, I'm going to change. And then it'll just turn out exactly how I knew it would be. And I just don't want to be in that situation. I think I've been in that situation a lot, not listening to my gut, not following my heart. And it always leads it always ends up being terrible. Never ends up being great. So anyways, but yeah, I just wanted to go in here and just, while baby girl was asleep after she got her hair done and while I could, the other two were entertained by the game. I just wanted to go in here and be like, while there are parts of this grind that feel fun, and the only reason they feel fun is because I can clearly see where that portion of my grind is taking me. I have days like this where I'm just like, man, F this. Like, so, that saying in Spider-Man that Uncle Ben told Peter that with great power comes great responsibility. And, I always liken that to superheroes. Like, you gonna be a superhero, then you have to be a superhero. You got the responsibility, you got the power of being a superhero, then you got the responsibility to be. But as I further along this journey, I then realized, not really, it's not just the superheroes, it's just period. The more knowledge you gain in life, the more responsibility you have. I could go and stop here and not gain any more knowledge and just plateau myself, just make myself stagnant, and just go on life, just accepting whatever and live a mediocre life. I could do that. But if I want to live my best life possible, be my happiest self possible, and for me and, my husband and my children, we want to be our best happy, our maximum happy, really get the blessings and the things that are for us this lifetime. With great power comes great responsibility. I'm going to have to learn more. I'm going to have to study more. I'm going to have to educate myself more. And that's not always just, mathematically 1 plus 1 or 2 plus 2. Had brain fart. It's not always just education in that manner. It's education in common sense wise, education in life wise, education on, okay, we've done this part of the journey. What do we need to do next? Finding myself just getting out of my comfort zone and asking for help from someone else if I need to, or someone that's more knowledgeable in that area. I don't have to. When I took a business, and this video is getting kind of long, so I'm gonna cut it off here. Well, my dad used to testify. This has nothing to do with what I just said, but I probably end up saying this in my other videos, and then you'll understand why. But when my dad used to testify in church, when churches were open, he would testify for so long, like you could kind of see people would get antsy, and he would say, I'm gonna say this and then I'm gonna sit down. So he would say the last thing he's gonna say. Like, so he would do it every time he would get up to testify. And so it would be like the cue to the church. You'd be like, okay, he's almost done. So that's how I am. I'm gonna say this and then I'm gonna sit down. I took a business seminar some years back, probably about 3 or 4 years ago. Probably 5 years ago now. But anyways, I took the seminar, and in it, they were listing a different type of entrepreneurs. And one type of entrepreneur they mentioned was a solopreneur. And it was somebody who was doing everything by themselves. They weren't outsourcing. They were trying to learn everything. They were, there's just some things you're not skilled at. They were trying to learn everything. They were trying to get everything done. They were, not reaching out for help. And the guy was like, you could have a business doing that, but you exhaust yourself. You exhaust your expenses. Like you exhaust your resources because you're your only resource. So it's not the smartest thing to do. He's like, the smartest thing to do is to get somebody who's an expert in that field. If they're not an expert, they know more than what you know, and they can get you what you need. And that's where I'm trying to be in my life right now. I'm so used to being a solopreneur in my own life that I'm always exhausted. I don't feel like I have a decent support system when it comes to mouth praise. Like, hey, I'm here for you. I got you. But sometimes I don't feel like I have that support when it comes to physical. I only have very few that I can solid count on to know that, okay, I don't have to worry about it. Like if I ask them to do something, and if they can do something, I know within my heart that they'll do it and they'll get it done correctly, and I won't have to pay them back anything weird, like mentally, physically, or spiritually, financially. They're there to help. But with that also comes with, you don't want to burn out the people who are always there for you, because then they may be the income a part of the group of the people who are sometimes there for you, and that's hard. So I find myself being a solopreneur a lot, and I'm exhausted, guys. I'm exhausted. I'm really tired. I'm tired. That's not to say that I'm ready to give up or give in, or I don't want to do this journey no more. I'm not saying any of that. I'm just saying that today is a day where I'm tired. Today is a day where I have a little bitty doubt in the back of my mind, like, is this worth it? Like, are we going to succeed? All the signs are pointing to yes. Everything is saying yes, keep going, don't stop. But still within me, just the human part of me is like, yeah, but it's so hard. It's so hard. So even with me being exhausted today, I do want to leave you with this. If you're feeling like I'm feeling, and you're on your grind, and you're on your journey, and you're transitioning from the life that you thought you had to settle for into the life that you want and you know you deserve, and you're having a day where you're exhausted, I just want to encourage you to keep pushing. I want to encourage you that if you have to be in your exhaustion, rest in it, slump for a day, you can do that. You can do that. And this is something that I tell myself all the time. Like when I get really like, okay, I gotta get up, I gotta do this. My house is straightened up to a point to where we are comfortable. There are things I need to pick up and stuff like that. Trash need to go out and all that other stuff. It is not the spotless clean that I like, but it is a straighten up to where we're at. And one thing I always tell myself is like, whenever I get too worked up about the house not looking the way I want it to, be like, girl, calm down. Ain't nobody gonna come visit you anyway. So that's what I'm gonna tell you. Child, calm down. Ain't nobody gonna visit you today. Relax. Take a moment. Breathe. We're in this journey together. It's hard today, but we'll be able to look back on this day a month, half a year, 2 years from now, and be like, man, I was so exhausted that day, but I'm really happy I didn't give up. Anyways, like I said, this was just a ramble talk today. I wanted to get it off my chest. And I wanted to let someone know that may be going through a rough day that, hey, this is a part of the journey. I'm learning that now. I'm learning that when I have bad days, not so great days, uncomfortable days, that's not my sign to stop. That's not my sign to quit. That is my sign of, okay, this is working. I'm tired. I acknowledge that I'm tired, always. But this is working. And we're going to be okay. Okay? I love you guys. Thank you so much for being with me today on a diary talk. We'll call these a diary talk. And hopefully you all have a blessed day. Get some rest, rest your minds, your bodies, your souls. Because we're back at the grind. As soon as we get done in this space, we'll be back at the grind. But it's all going to be worth it. I love you all very much. Thank you for watching. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being a part of my journey. And I will see you all next time. Bye.